Hey up you grots. It's GuruSkippy and the Tenso, both of our resident orc mains in the ongoing faction war. Going to be playing a little bit of a Mech Boy mirror on Greentooth Jungle, so a very big map, generally beneficial to the teleporting heroes, but it's a mirror, so I guess I should talk about mirror things, right? And as we see so far, both the players are mirroring one another's builds too, so man, this is going to be a crazy one. So, orc mirrors in general, pretty reliant on melee, especially in tier 2, but even in tier 1 you get storm boys and you can kind of roll through the shooters and their upgrades quite easily actually. Now you can kind of counter that by going for pain boy or double sluggers, but with a mech boy I think we'll certainly be seeing storm boys because there is that natural synergy with the battery pack healing them and giving them extra energy to do double jumps. GuruSkippy though actually going for a second slugger, so he's going for 2 of each boys, 2 shooters, 2 sluggers. I'm getting confused by who's mech's who here, so the sluggers of Guru ran straight past Tenso's mech, which I guess makes sense. Even if you tie him up and you take away his DPS, you don't bleed him, whereas you do bleed the normal boys, so generally better to go after the boys if you can. Electric armor though is also quite a powerful wargear here because orcs, you know, they don't have the highest HP, they've got quite a lot of models. 6 in the sluggers, 5 in the shooters, and then when they get their knobs, you know, it's even more. So the electric armor can be good, but I guess the problem with the electric armor is with shooter boys and just orcs in general being the highest damage race in the game, they can kill the mech boy very very quickly if he's not careful with his electric armor usage. They don't have any stuns though. So yeah, I think battery pack and electric armor are both quite valuable. I think battery pack is generally more reliable. But Guru going for the double slugger, double shooter, we might actually see electric armor on him. We shall have to see. So Tenso on the other hand has rushed fast storm boys, only just putting some power down now, both players rocking 1 generator each. Notice how there are no shooter boy upgrades yet, they're prioritising getting additional melee squads out. And that is kind of the story of the matchup, to be honest. The shooters are mostly just for poke with regards to the map control, but for the actual army versus army fights, you really do want to be relying on melee. Surely this isn't intentional, I don't think, yeah. You don't really want triple sluggers. So Guru could get storm boys after this, or he could get a pain boy, or he could just rock this build. I think the pain boy actually would be quite an interesting choice. Pain boy plus electric armor could be cool. You can use the electric armor defensively. I don't remember if it does friendly fire, which is kind of crazy to me now how I forgot. Surely it does, or it'd be insane, right? But even if it does do friendly fire, you would just aim in what stat on the storm boys after they jump and then walk away and just let your mech boy go zap zap zap. Guru is going for the electric armor, so probably going to see the battery pack play from Tenso, so there's a little bit of a deviation. Yeah, aim in what stat went in there, but the storm boys retreat, only losing a model. How many shooters did they get? They got 4 shooters, so that's pretty worth it. Here we go, electric armor. This is really, really scary. Slugger boys are right there. Yeah, I think he's going to die to the sluggers. They didn't use War, so they haven't got the speed buff. But, yeah, he goes down. Wow. That was clearly very ill-advised from Guru there. I don't know why he went in. Sluggers on this side, routing some shooter boys. Get a couple of models there. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of models being killed in this matchup. I mean, you've got the 2 faction, well, you've got a mirror between the faction with the highest damage, so gonna have a lot of death. I actually think that 1 big shooter for aiming what's that is probably sufficient, and then I'd rather have the shooter knob to bleed less with the shooters. rather than getting double big shooters. If you have the shooter knob, you will outtrade big shooter boys. Really shocked we're not seeing the battery pack. More DACA global use here on the shooter boys. Oh, this is a bad spot though. Gosh. Another jump might be able to kill the shooter boys. I don't know if it's off cooldown. Looks like it's too late now. They're moving too fast. But still, 4 models claimed there. That's a good little pickup for Tenso. Going to move into the sluggers as well. Stormboys should beat sluggers. Stormboys have basically similar DPS, but they have a lot more HP. Yeah. There you go, Stormboys kicking their ass. So the interesting thing with sluggers, if you look at the slugger HP, like look at Stormboys right now, they're 1095. I think they're at 950 by default. Sluggers, oh, they've both got the burners, but so the burners give you 20% more HP, even with that buff, which is a lot, 20%, right? Sluggers only have 720 HP over 6 models. So that gives sluggers a slight advantage because they're 20% more likely to trigger a special with the extra model, but at the same time it means any specials the Stormboys got hurt the sluggers 20% more than they'd hurt the Stormboys, and you get the model bleed faster, so you lose out the DPS from that. Basically, there's so many things that make the Stormboys way better in Tier 1 than Slugger Boys, and that's generally why you would see a Pain Boy if you go for a double Slugger build. Now, the Sluggers, they do have utility because they become better than the Stormboys in Tier 2 because the Slugger Knob buffs the HP of himself and every other boy in the squad, whereas the Stormboy Knob doesn't. So the Stormboy Knob and the Slugger Knob, in terms of stats, are very similar. But the fact that the Slugger Knob comes with a buff that buffs his own HP makes him end up having a lot more HP than the Stormboys, and it then makes the Slugger Boys just as tanky as the Stormboys, but you have 6 of them instead of 5. So that's how that works out. So right now, Tenso going with the Stormboys in Tier 1, that definitely gives him an advantage, and you see there, even with the electric armor being used defensively, didn't actually do that much damage to the Stormboys. I mean, look at them. I know they're level 2, but man, they only lost like maybe 15% of their HP, and the Mech Boys forced off. Obviously, there was support there from double shooters, and it looks like all 3 of these units here have got their WAR buff. So that would have helped them a little bit, but still, yeah, I don't know about the electric armor, man. Because the problem with the electric armor as well is it doesn't scale very well. It doesn't help you against the knobs that are really tanky. Obviously, when the sluggers are getting more HP, it becomes a lot less effective, whereas battery pack, if you were to get that, it's just as good basically in Tier 2. It still heals so much per model that it will basically fully heal Tier 2 sluggers. But interestingly, Tenso opted for the proximity mines. I've not really seen any of them yet. Where, you know, has he deployed any around? No, it doesn't look like it. Oh, there's one here, so I'm guessing he threw out a batch. I mean, has Guru got the... He's got one shooter knob, so he can detect with that, but if he sends the other guys, I mean, if he sends sluggers down the sidelines, they could be pretty vulnerable to those mines. I'll have to be careful. The other advantage of the mines is that they can snare the Death Dread, or any vehicle of course. See more mines going up here, just defending the natural VP. Yeah, it's not a bad shout, because if something wants to take this natural VP, more than likely it will be Slugger Boys, who obviously don't detect. So we'll see. It's going to be a War Truck for Tenso, it's going to be a Death Dread for Guru. Compositionally, definitely like Tenso having the Stormboys. I think that is a big advantage. Painboy actually scales pretty well into Tier 2, even though he as a combatant is not very good. Obviously you get the lower cooldown on the heal, the better energy regen on him, so you can basically throw out those heals more often. But more importantly, he gets the unstable git source. Unstable fuel injection? I don't know, something like that. Basically, he prods one of the boys and makes them blow up. Amazing ability, because you just use that to win any melee fights. GuruSkippy calling in some grots. Okay, this is a big engagement here. I think with the War Truck support, this is pretty dubious, but actually, Guru's staying in this fight, trying to get the snipe on the Slugger Boys. He's got gun grots. Interesting. Really good DPS on these guys. 10 DPS piercing each, so as a squad that's 60 DPS. I mean, that's like a tactical marine with a sergeant, but obviously 450 HP. I mean, so you so much as look at them and they're going to melt. A lot of repair support, to be fair, between the Grots, the Mech Boy, and the Sluggers. So that should be quite nice. Grots now, they can't cap. They can decap, but they can't cap. Something to bear in mind. Tenso's got some tank busters. They're getting in the truck. So we've got that classic truck busters combo going out now to try and hunt down the Death Dread. I think probably going to see a beamy Death Gun on the Mech Boy to try and counter that. Okay, the tank busters have revealed themselves. Guru hadn't seen them before, so he's going to activate that rampage and get his Death Dread out of there. Yeah, running off to the safety of... No, not the safety of the Storm Boys. Oh my god, I'm getting confused. It's so confusing when they're both playing Orcs. They're the enemy Storm Boys. But he actually triggered a beautiful special attack there. And then the Storm Boys jumping into 3 squads. Not really ideal for them. No shooter knobs for Tenso. Just 1 still for Guru. Clearly just got that to help detect the mines. Now the annoying thing with these mines, they're kind of like the Lord Commissar mines in that there's just fucking loads of them. The annoying thing is that you have to spend so much time individually targeting each mine. It's quite annoying. Now I don't really know what Tenso's doing here with the Mech Boy running forward with no fire support. I think that was an attempt at a proximity mine into barrage combo, so because there's a detector nearby, you could walk on top of these mines now and they wouldn't trigger. However, if they were to trigger, they would still hurt you even though they've been detected. So, if you force them to trigger with splash damage, you can actually hurt the enemy even if they've got a detector. And a way to do that is throw the mines out, then combo it with a barrage from the busters. I think that's what he was going for. So GuruSkippy finally got enough requisition to be able to get out some busters of his own. Honestly, I'd have just got the beamy Death Gun. It's really good against transport since the Mech Boy can teleport with it. And given that Guru doesn't himself have any truck, in theory Tenso should be able to kite with the war truck from the enemy tank busters pretty much infinitely, and so long as he micros it correctly, it should be very hard for Guru to get that kill, which again is why I would be getting the beamy Death Gun, because at least that can chase the war truck, you know? But we'll see. I just realised now, this is looking really bad for Guru in terms of VPs. How the hell does he have 138 VPs and Tenso has 432? That is a massive deficit that Guru is going to have to try and make up. I mean, he's 1 squad ahead right now, but that's only a Gretchen squad, so I don't know. This is going to be tough for sure, especially when Tenso has Storm Boys. Being able to jump over all the trees on this map, that's going to be really helpful for map control in the mid to late game. These shooters here leading the charge, very fragile. It's quite risky. Okay, Buster's getting some shots. We've got a barrage coming down. Sluggers look like they were in range stance, but the Death Dread's going to get into melee with the truck as well. Mech Boy's trying to put work in with this electric armor. I really don't like it. It doesn't seem like it's done that much. And you see the more Daka Global was used once again on the tank busters of GuruSkippy, but the war truck can just drive away. The tank busters obviously aren't as fast as a war truck, so I mean, Tenso's idling the war truck right now. He hasn't seen the tank busters moving up. That's another couple of rockets. He does have the reinforced plating upgrade on the war truck. There's going to be a barrage attempt to snipe it. Nope, that will be a miss. Good effort, but it was a miss. Got the big shooter now for the Mech Boy of Tenso. Makes sense. Might be able to wipe out the Gretchen. No, I'm going to teleport away. So Gretchen get out of there with 2 models. Oop, Bomber Boys goes in. Boom. Nice splash damage to the Slugger Boys there. Obviously does cost a Storm Boy, which is not free. That's 35 rec free power, but still. And Tenso's going to go tier 3. I like this play actually from Tenso. Compositionally, he kind of does have everything he needs to beat this. He did unfortunately lose a shooter boy at some point. My god, did that happen in that engagement there, or was it on a sideline? I didn't notice. I'm not sure where that shooter boy died, but That kind of sucks, because it makes this comp a little bit harder to hold off for, but the thing is, there's 360 VPs for Tenso, and far fewer for Guru, so I think this is a nice window of opportunity for Tenso to get tier 3 and get something valuable out, like perhaps a looted tank. Tanks are really good against tier 2 orcs, because you can bleed the models and the tank busters so quickly. And of course the Beamy Death Gun is, well, basically it's the worst AV setup team. It's got the lowest DPS, even though it doesn't have a snare, so it has some advantages. Namely, it's very hard to see the shots, and it's got the highest damage per hit, so you can sort of get some good thresholds where you'll kill a vehicle in maybe 3 shots that other teams would take 4. But obviously that assumes no repairs, and Tenso does still have... Well, I was going to say he does still have the mech boy, but he doesn't. His mech boy died. Oh no, look at this! Oh my god, Guru, what are you doing? Massive overextension from his weird boy there. I didn't even have time to talk about the weird boy. Guru opting for that weird boy, getting a nice warp vomit off, but then just, I don't know. He just, slow reactions, left him in melee with the slugger boys, and they just chopped that big fucking psychic brain to pieces. Terrible. Level 3 Storm Boys at this point, half the way to level 4. These guys are going to be a problem. Huge problem. This is looking bad for Guru. I don't really know how he's going to do this. He's behind in tech and he's behind in VPs. To be fair, he's making up a lot of the VPs, it has to be said. Tenso got his mech boy back. Guru's mech boy is down as well. Both players losing their mech boys a few times here. Don't really think these mines have paid off for Tenso. I don't think so. Not really seen them do too much. I can't believe he hasn't got battery pack though. Not getting battery pack when you've got Storm Boys just feels wrong. And especially in the Orc mirror. That just seems mental. Continuing to lay those mines out there to protect his natural VP. Just gonna grab a little bit more map control. Guru kind of ignoring it at the moment. Content to hold the middle and the 2-to-1 cap. Bring these VPs slowly back in line. I mean, still 100 VP advantage more or less for Tenso. Let's have a look at his resources. Okay, 300 rec. So still not quite got enough resources for a looted tank. I would presume that's what he's going to get. I mean, it would be a great counter to the Death Dread, and as I mentioned, tank busters, ironically, not that good against tanks actually, because they bleed the models and then they lose DPS. A lot better against walkers. But a really good engagement here from GuruSkippy. Slow reaction from Tenso there. Sluggers are so scary in tier 2. I mean, they are the premier unit in this mirror. Not so good in tier 1. Get manhandled by Storm Boys. Get kind of shot to pieces by shooters. But my god, when they get to tier 2, are they scary. And we see there, Guru. Sluggers wipe the shooters of Tenso. Tenso's got no more shooters left. But he does have a looted tank on the way. Guru probably should be going tier 3 at this point. He also could just spam Death Dreads. I mean, the thing is, as much as orcs can struggle against tanks normally, playing as the mech boy gives you a much better advantage against tanks whilst in tier 2 because you have access to that beamy death gun. So tank busters themselves, you know, they can struggle for the same reason that they struggle against transports. They just lack mobility. But a transport, you see, can't kill a war truck, so you just do this, and you can counter enemy transports and walkers very well, but the problem is with a tank, they of course will blow up the war truck with their cannon. So the whole truck buster combo doesn't work. And in fact, Guru just lost his tank busters, so he is in a horrendous position right now. He has absolutely no counter to the looted tank. Stormboy's going to go take the natural VP of Guru, whilst the Tenso's tank busters attempt to take the natural VP back of himself. He's been guarded by some shooters here by Guru, which is a nice little bit of foresight. And Tenso is bleeding a lot of VPs right now, down to 75 VPs. He needs to get a move on and start taking these VPs back. He's currently a 1-to-1 cap, but these Storm Boys need to get out of here. Oh, I don't know if Tenso's noticed. He did. Yeah, he noticed just in time. The Sluggers here will force off these shooters for sure. But they need to get on the point. Delayed a little bit there by the aim in what start. The mine's now delaying Guru as well, so a nice amount of delaying tactics. Come on, tank, drive forward. Tank missing a good opportunity for a nice shot there with its cannon. Looted tank is the tank with the best splash damage on its cannon in the game. So it's got one of the highest damage per hit. It fires really slowly, which makes its DPS not very good. But each shot from the looted tank, you definitely do feel they really hurt. Looted tank being slightly mismicroed here though, exposing rear armor, which is not ideal. Really needs to stop doing that. Look at that. Even on the mech boy, where obviously the splash damage is not very useful, it does a huge amount of damage, and a missed micro again from the Tenso, exposing rear armor. Tank Busters should be able to get another barrage off. Line of sight seems to be protecting it. So it is a 1-to-1 cap, but Guru is capping the mid. The tank is walking forward straight into Tank Busters without support. This is not good. Now you need the support to help bleed the Tank Busters. But there are knobs for Tenso as well. Oh my god, I didn't even realise. Why is Guru floating so much? What is he doing? Oh no, Guru is throwing this by floating this much. I don't know what he's doing. Anything would be good right now, even a Death Dread. It would delay the knobs for quite some time. It would help against these side-capping sluggers. Even just to distract or zone out the looted tank, try and bait it into the Busters. But right now the Busters are in trouble. Guru seems to have most of his attention focused onto this central fight against the knobs, and Slugger Boys are going to get into the Tank Busters, knock them over and wipe them out, and I think this is GG in favour of Tenso. Guru is losing units all over the place, losing this central engagement as one would expect, given that he was fighting knobs and level 4 Storm Boys. He's got another Grot squad, which is going for shooters. He's just trying to get bodies on the field, but I don't know. One man's got Grots, one man's got knobs, so it's not really a very even fight at this point. And a weird boy comes out too. I mean, the VP's for now favouring GuruSkippy, but I mean, come on, I don't know how the hell he would be able to get a comeback here. That'd be ridiculous. Mechboy of Guru probably should head over to that natural VP of Tenso. There's actually no one guarding it, though Tenso's Mechboy is now moving there as well. Not sure who's going to win that fight, given that Tenso's Mechboy has the big shooter, but Guru's has the electric armor, which gives him more HP. I really am not sure why the looted tank decided to shoot his boom shot at the shooters and not the capping sluggers. There was a bomber boys there going in. Ah, okay. Yeah, Rocks comes down. Yeah. I mean, compositionally, Tenso not really under too much pressure there, so it's gonna get the dub. It's gonna get the dub. How thematic, though, to see a nice orc mirror on the very green map, Greentooth Jungle. It's been a while since we've seen an orc mirror. Always appreciate them. Orc mirrors, Nid mirrors, definitely the best mirrors. IG mirrors are probably some of the worst. Tell me down below in the comments, what is your favourite mirror? Thank you very much, folks. That is all from your boy Torpid. Signing out.